because of whatever happened in life, but they don't feel good about this one. If you don't feel good about yourself, guess what? It's just as good as saying you are holding yourself back, just by that alone. Okay. Now, poverty mindset versus wealth mindset. There is no honor in being poor. If you are poor and you are glorifying the fact that you are poor, stop it. You are enforcing your poverty. You are cementing it into your mindset. You are saying that it is an honor to be poor. Therefore, I take great pride in being poor. Then guess what? You will always be poor. Now, I slept on a street. I slept on a sidewalk. Okay. And I know these people. I know some people that I worked with in several industries. Okay, that came from what you would call humble beginnings, what you would call a poor neighborhood, what you would call, the projects or the housing or the whatever you call it, right? Low income families, okay? And they got to the point in life where they started making a lot of money, okay? But they would always refer back to the poverty because they were proud of where they came from. Okay, but here's the thing, right? When you keep doing that, where do you really live? What am I talking about? Yeah. In here, inside, if you're doing things like that, you're still living in the housing. You're still living in the projects. You're still living in poverty. Why? Because you're poor in here. And if you don't change in here, it doesn't matter how much money you make out here. When you go back to your house, when people go visit you at your home, you're going to be living poor. Your house will be a mess. It'll be in disrepair. Why? Because it starts in here. So my parents did something. My mother, actually, drove me by the projects or the low-income district, right, when I was a kid. I was in 4th grade, and we were standing in line in the store, in this just a regular grocery store. We're standing in line, and this lady in front of us was using food stamps, right? And I asked my mom, I said, can we give her some money? She has food stamps, poor thing. And I was in the 4th grade. And my mom, she kind of motioned me like that, and she goes, I'll tell you later. And when we went outside, we went to the car. She told me, I am going to show you why you don't give money like that, or why it's not productive to give money like that, or why, that kind of thing. Because I give money till today. I give a lot of money. I always treat people, or I give money, or whatever. I'm not saying not to help people. But here's what she did. She drove me by the housing. The cars were on blocks. The screens were ripped out. Like the whole place was in disrepair. And my mom said, if we gave them brand new cars today, and we gave them a brand new house today, in 1 year, it would look just like that again. And I had to think about that, right? I had to think about that. And then I saw it from my own eyes when I moved to this island. I'm in Hawaii. I'm on the island of Oahu. I'm from Kauai. So when I moved to this island, right, I saw brand new projects come up, so when I say projects, I just mean low-income housing. Brand new, right? And guess what? Exactly what my mother said happened. In about a year's time, or let's say before too long, it was a mess. The walls were dirty. In other words, they didn't take care of anything. Okay, there were junk cars outside, just like the projects back home. Why was this? Because their mindset did not change. Because their subconscious didn't change. Okay, so I talk to you guys about subconscious all the time. If you don't do it in here, if you don't do the work in here, I don't care how much money you make out here, your life is going to be a mess. You have to organize your life in here first. You have to adopt wealth in here first. Now, your birthright is wealth. When I was sleeping on the sidewalk, at the theater, I used to sleep at the side exit door. I wasn't angry at anybody. I wasn't angry at God. I wasn't angry at anything. I was having fun. I was on an adventure. Okay. But I wanted to experience that for myself. And I wanted to experience moving up from there. Because I knew if I did that, it was mine. It belonged to me, not my parents, not anybody else. And guess what? I was always told that you could do this, right? I was always told, oh, the kingdom is within. Jesus said, the kingdom is within. I was always told you can attract everything into your life, right? You can make good decisions that will amount to good things, that will amount to a good life. And so I decided to try it in my late 20s. It took a while. My 20s were very angry, were very resentful. And so I tried. Right around 28, I started to straighten my life out. When I started to straighten my life out, I realized what my mom was saying when I was a little kid. You know, because I saw these people that came from poverty, and I saw them earn a lot of money. Half of them lost it all. The other half, right, didn't know how to take care of their things. Therefore, their things came and went. They didn't know how to respect things. Things came and went. They didn't know how to respect themselves. Therefore, they couldn't respect each other. Things came and went. And what I'm talking about is sticking power. You can attract anything, but if it doesn't stick, if it doesn't resonate with this one, in other words, if your vibration is not conducive to a better life, you will not have one. You can't hold on to it. Money comes, money goes out in bills. Money comes, goes out in bills. So my question is, what do they have to show for it? The answer is very little at all. Why is that? Because their subconscious is like that. Because in here, if you're talking about poverty, if you're talking about the fact that, you know, you're poor but you have love, you're poor but whatever. What you're saying is that poverty is okay. What you're saying is that you're embracing poverty as a badge of honor, which is the worst possible thing you can do. Unless, of course, you want to spend your life on welfare or spend your life on food stamps or spend your life struggling. And even then, they say the struggle is real. And they wear it like a badge of honor, like it's something to be proud of. It's not something to be proud of. Struggle is not something to be proud of. If you're struggling right now, you need to change it. You need to stop talking about it, stop thinking about it, stop embracing it, stop glorifying it, because the bottom line is struggle. You want to keep struggling? Think struggle. I don't struggle. I never struggle. I haven't struggled for years and years and years. Did I struggle in my 20s? Yeah, of course. Why? Because I was fighting everything. Whatever you resist persists. Whatever you fight, okay, and this is why they say when you fight, you lose. Because in the end, you lose. Why? Because you had to fight in the first place. Think about it. You know, if you're poor, there's a reason. If you're poor, when you look around you outside, what kind of car do you drive? You know, I had a client. He used to show up with a beater every week. Every week. And it took a couple of months of me working with him. One day he shows up with a brand new car. A brand new, beautiful car. Brand new. And I'm like, well, you're learning. And then guess what? Then he got one for his wife. Okay? 2 new cars. Okay? And guess what? He has a huge job offer on the table. They're putting together something. They're actually building a department for him. But when he came to me, he showed up in this, it was his father-in-law's car, this beater. You have to act as if. Okay? If you don't act as if, you will have no evidence to show your subconscious that you're striving for better, that you're doing better. You know, the poor person will say, well, he has the bill for the car now. Yeah, he has the bill for the car now. But everything costs something. There's a greater cost for driving the beater than there is for paying the bill for the new car and the self-esteem. Okay, this self-esteem. Self-esteem. Now when he shows up for meetings, people take him seriously. Why? Because pulls up in a new car, pulls up in a good car. Is he going under? Is he sinking because he has two new cars? No. Heck no. If you're too afraid to change, you might as well just give it up. Okay, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to take the step. It was 2007 when I made that one decision. One decision. That decision was to pull into the new car lot because I was always taught that you have to buy a good used car, okay? That's a bunch of crock. I'll tell you that right now. If you're afraid of that little depreciation when you drive it off the lot, that's the demon, okay? Here's what people generally don't realize. When you do this, God is real. You believe in God? So many people say, oh, I believe in God. Praise the Lord. Praise God. Praise Jesus. They have no clue. They have no clue. They have no clue of the power of the kingdom within. It's the title of my new book, The Kingdom Within. If you don't have the faith, you will not proceed. If you don't have the faith, you will be stuck. If you don't have the faith, you will be scared. You will be reluctant. You will be hesitant. Those are all negative emotions. God is love. God is here for you. God is in you. You just need to take the steps with confidence. So now my client is moving forward in life. The doors are beginning to open. And there's a huge department that's being built just for him to step into and to take over. How did this happen? Mindset. It's all mindset. If you're afraid, good luck. You'll never get anywhere. Okay? Fear is not a part of God. Fear is not a part of the kingdom. Fear is the opposing energy. Okay, love is over here, which is God. Over here, it's the opposing energy. Some people call that Satan. Some people call it the devil, whatever you want to call it, evil, whatever. But fear is the devil, for sure. If you are too afraid to proceed confidently, you are still subscribing to this over here. Okay? It has nothing to do with source or goodness or God or anything like that. Okay? But here's the way poor people talk. Poor people talk like this. Well, I come from the housing, you know? I come from the housing. I come from nothing. Okay, what is the topic there? Housing and nothing. Okay? I come from nothing. No, you come from God. You come from the universe, from source. You are a divine being. Whatever you call this in here, you're not your body, you're not your name, you're that spirit that lives in here. You were conditioned to believe that you were poor. Now, if your parents subscribed to a poverty mindset and you were born into poverty, so what? You can change that. But you won't change it if you continuously glorify what was versus what is. Okay, I see these people all the time. They get new jobs, they get new positions. They start climbing the social ladder, however it happens. But in their minds, they still live in the housing. They still live in poverty, but they glorify it. Okay? It's like focusing on bills. It's the same thing. Whether you're focusing on paying a bill, whether you're focusing on eliminating a bill, paying it off, or whether you're complaining about it, or right, or making any reference to the bill, guess what the subject is? Guess what the subject matter is? Bills. And guess what happens? What you focus on intensifies. You get more bills, more and more and more and more. Pretty soon you're drowning in debt. And what do? All of that is confirmation. That's what I'm telling you happens in the subconscious. It's confirmation. In your subconscious, when the belief is poverty, when the belief is bills, when the belief is lack and scarcity, okay, limitation, limited, there's only so much, there's only this much, and there's all of us, and we got to all scramble and fight for this because there's only this much. Nonsense. Nonsense. You don't get extra brownie points because you're proud of being poor. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself for reinforcing the poverty upon yourself. Okay? Do something about it. Take the steps. But you need to take the steps here. The prison is here. The prison is not out here. Once you open this one, this begins to open. When this begins to open, the magic begins to happen. The conscious, subconscious, and superconscious become aligned. Not with poverty, but with abundance. That's your birthright. You were born into abundance. And like I said, if you were born to poor parents, okay. My mother was raised during the war. Does she have a scarcity mindset? It's kind of like this compared to mine. Why? Because I was born into abundance. The war was struggle. So every once in a while, I have to remind my mother, come on, open your mind. Because I was on the sidewalk. I was sleeping. These guys, I know these guys that they brag for, they brag a lot. I'm from the housing and, now I have, this job, or I have this car, or I have this money, or I have this. And 6 months later, I see them, hey, how you doing? Oh, well, I don't know. Yeah, everything, So it comes, okay, but it doesn't stay. It goes. If you have a wealth mindset, it stays. Okay, when I changed my mind, when I changed my mindset in 2007, and I went into that car dealership, until now, I've had new cars every single year, all year, whatever. I don't look at it as that anymore. I just say, well, I have new car smell. And every time I go into my car, I go, okay, still there. And that, to me, is reality. Am I looking at all the depreciation costs that were involved? No, of course not. Those are only numbers. Those are man-made. They're not God-made. This is God-made. There's a difference. God-made, man-made. When you believe there's never enough, there's not enough money, it's hard to earn money, the struggle is real, all of these things. When you believe those things, guess what? Your subconscious looks for confirmation. Your subconscious goes, oh, look at that. You see, that's a struggle right there. You see, that's real. Oh, you see over here? There's not enough over here. Oh, that's real. You see that over there? And you start noticing these things. And then it confirms the fact that the struggle is real, that you live in the struggle, that you're a part of the struggle, that you were born into the struggle. But oh yeah, it's a glorious thing to be a part of the struggle because we're fighters and we fight through the struggle. Shame on you. You know what you're saying? You know what you're saying? I don't have to get better. I don't have to improve this. I'm happy in the rut that I'm in. I am happy with the disgusting results that surround me. At a certain point in my life, in my 20s, everything around me was pretty disgusting. People were in poverty. People were injecting themselves in the arm with needles. Things around me that I saw, things that were right in my immediate vicinity were pretty disgusting. I saw human beings go through things that a lot of people don't see. And so I changed it. Was it easy to change it? Easy is relative. But there were steps to take. First, first there were odd jobs, right? Then there was a regular job. Then there was Section 8 housing. Then, food stamps and all of that stuff. Been through all of it. I meet people, in my chapter now, and they go, "Well, Uncle, you don't understand." I'm like, "Don't understand? You're from the housing. I slept on a sidewalk. I was below you." Okay? What's the difference? Mindset. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Okay? Stop glorifying poverty if you're proud that you come from nothing, or if you're proud that you come from the housing, or if you're proud that you come from the low income bracket. You'll never be in the high income bracket if you keep thinking that. That is what ties you. That is the devil that binds you, that goes like this, okay, inside. And this is what I release in my clients, because their energy is like this inside. This represents I don't like myself. This represents I am poor. This represents lack and scarcity, because it's inside holding you back like this, okay? But with your voice, energy, frequency, vibration, and velocity, what happens? Slowly that energy goes like this, and pretty soon, boom, it leaves. And then you become clear. And then clarity happens. And then what? Then there is only love left. No fear. People who cling to poverty are scared inside. They look brave on the outside. They are scared inside. They tremble inside. Because they don't embrace God. They embrace poverty. If God is freedom, if God is wealth, if God is good, if God is glorious, then poverty and lack and scarcity is the devil. If you're not here yet, you need to act as if. You need to practice. You need to walk towards God. God is abundance. God will give you everything. First seek the kingdom of God, and all else will be added unto you. That's what it means. It means that when you cross over from the left brain to the right brain, when you cross over from scarcity, lack, suffering, struggle, when you cross over here, this is the 50 percentile. Negativity, positivity, the devil, God, dark, light, however you want to say it. It's up to you what label you want to put on it, but that's what it is. When you cross over, is it a challenge to stay here? Sure, it's a challenge to be anywhere. It's a challenge to struggle. It's a challenge to be here in lack. It's a struggle. Is it a challenge to be here in God's light? Yeah, of course. Why? Because it's tempting to be here. It's tempting to go to the food bank or to sign up for, food stamps or whatever SNAP they call it now. It's very, you see what I'm saying? Okay. But it's the way you think about it. You want to be challenged here with God, or you want to be challenged here with struggle? You have a choice. You always have a choice. You always have a choice. Am I challenged to stay where I am over here? Yeah, all the time. All the time. Everything goes like this. There's a balance to everything. You know, sometimes you're like this, and then it kind of tilts like this, and then you have to run uphill a little bit. You have to work a little bit. You have to exercise your strength a little bit, and then it evens out again. Okay, now if it goes like this, right? Like this, okay, you have to adjust either way. Either way. It's much easier to belong to abundance, or to belong to good, or to belong to God, or to belong to Jesus Christ or Allah, or however you believe. I'm not here to tell you how to believe. It's much easier to get along here than here. Why? Because here you're constantly fearing. Okay? In the devil's camp, if you want to call it that, on the evil side, on the dark side, it's a challenge to stay here as well. Why? Because you have to keep fearing. It takes a lot of energy to fear. You have to keep living in scarcity. You have to keep struggling. It takes a lot of energy to struggle. Does it take energy to stay on this side with God? Yes, it does. Because you have to resist the temptation of this over here. So you have to keep going this way. How difficult is it? It's not that difficult, but it's a work in progress. So the dividing line is here, the 50 percentile. This is evil, this is good, right? All you have to do is push good across the line 1%. Now the majority of your life is good. Okay, is it enough to stay in your home and keep your car and keep your job? And maybe not. So maybe go 55%. Is that enough? Well, you're probably getting there. Maybe go 60%. Can you do 60? Yes, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. That's being proactive, a lot. But 51%, when you just put it 1% over the line, is that difficult? Not that difficult. 51% positive, 51% love, 51% God, 51% good. That's all. Now you have the majority. Then you can work from here forward. Okay. If you're in a poverty mindset, you're focusing on survival. How many people you talk to? Hey, how you doing? I'm surviving. They're in survival mode. What is survival mode? It means you're scratching and clawing for whatever you can get. Okay? You're not thriving, you're struggling. Okay? The struggle is real. There's a war on good and evil. I'm in the war. I'm fighting the war of good and evil. The war of good and evil is in here. As long as you're good in here, it will be noticeable out here. It will transcend into the world out here, but it starts in here. It doesn't start out here. You don't go and fight the battle out here unless you're in a military. The war begins here. A lot of people in the military, I always say when you fight, you lose. A lot of people in the military go and fight, right? But they lose in here. When they come back, the effects of war, the ravages of war, the consequences of war are felt in here. The war out here is over. But when they return, the war in here is for the rest of their lives. When you have a poverty mindset, you look at something as luck or a privilege instead of effort and alignment. You look at it, oh, I got lucky. If you think you're getting lucky, you live in a poverty mindset. Oh, I was just lucky. that means that you think life happens to you like this. If you think that life happens to you like this, you're suffering from victim mentality, right? You have to dodge this bad thing, dodge that bad thing. Life is like this all the time, right? Wrong. Life happens for you. Life happens like this in accordance with the beliefs you have in your subconscious. Your subconscious gives birth to your paradigm or your worldview. Your paradigm gives birth to your actions. Your actions give birth to your results. If you keep believing the things you've always believed, you'll keep getting the same things you've always gotten. It will never change, and you live day to day to day to day to day to day to die. When you die. Same life over and over, same thing over and over, same results over and over. How do you change it? Can you change it? Yes. Is it hard? No. But it's a process. There is a little work, just a little tiny work involved, 15 minutes a day. Can you take 15 minutes from your day? And this is free. I'm not here to sell you anything. I have no course. I have nothing to sign up for except private training, but most people can't afford my training. Those are for professionals. I have my own market. So I'm here free for you guys. So can you do it? Yes. Is it a lot of work? No. Less than 15 minutes a day. Can you write a sentence? How fast can you write, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm confident, thank you? How fast can you write, I am so happy and grateful now that I have $100 extra this month, thank you? How long does that take you? It only takes me about 12 seconds. Well, my affirmations look like chicken scratch, but yeah. Okay. I am so happy and grateful now that I have found the love of my life. Thank you. And she will come, or he will come. I am so happy and grateful now that I have a new playmate. Thank you. I did that once just to try it. Guess what? She showed up. It was a beautiful 2 months. And she disappeared as fast as she showed up. And in a case like that, you have to be happy for that. That's your blessing. And when your blessing goes, write another affirmation. I didn't do that, but I'm just saying you can write another affirmation. I'm not here to preach morals. I'm not here to say, you need to be a good person. You're a bad person. You need to be a better person. I'm not here to say that at all. Okay? I'm here to say that if you want to be a bad guy, if you use affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization, you'll be a really good bad guy or girl or woman or man. If you want to do it the other way and you want to be more productive, you want to be a good citizen, a good person, a good family man, a good boyfriend, a good whatever, it'll work. Let's see. Floating on a rock in space. It's about looking for the opportunity and not looking for what's wrong. Yeah, so I say that every day. Welcome, by the way. Welcome. I say that every day, but I say focus on what you want and what you don't, not what you don't want. Everybody focuses on what they don't want. You know, people walk around saying, they pronounce it into their subconscious. It's all subconscious. They speak it into their subconscious. If it's the last thing I want, it's blah, 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 right? I hope the government doesn't blah, 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 blah. I hope the economy doesn't blah, blah, blah. I hope the stock market doesn't blah, 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 blah. All the negative stuff, see? All you do is reframe, refocus. I know the stock market's going to do well. If it's not doing well today, I know it's going to do well eventually. You're expecting positive and not negative. Now you're focusing on what you want instead of what you don't want. You know, I know a really nice girl's going to show up. I know I'm going to meet a nice girl very soon. She'll show up. Why? Because we're all connected through the superconscious. The first universal law, the law of divine oneness. We are all connected. How are we connected? Here, awareness. It doesn't matter who you believe in, doesn't matter how you believe. We're connected. Energetically, everything is energy. You're not your body, you're not your name. You're that energy that lives in here. That's who you are. What you are? Well, if you believe you're a spirit, that's what you are. You're not this. The body is like your personal machine. It picks up things. It holds my pen. It writes for me. In my mind, I'm saying, okay, write a sentence. There it goes. It's writing what I'm thinking. Okay? But my hand is not me. It's my body. There's a separation between the body and the spirit. I'm not talking good spirits, evil spirit. I'm talking spirit here. Awareness. The connection. It doesn't matter what we believe in. Well, your results matter what you believe in. If you think it doesn't matter what you believe in, then you'll get random results and you're living a random existence. Is that Mary? Mary. Yeah. It does matter what you believe in. Your results are derived from what you believe in. So if you look at the subconscious tree, the roots of the tree are your core beliefs, your beliefs. Yeah. Nene, yeah, you're not a meat suit. That's right. This is just a meat suit. You wear the suit, you're in here operating the suit. Okay, but your core beliefs are the roots of the tree. The trunk of the tree is your paradigm, the way you see the world based upon what you believe. Okay, now from your paradigm, it dictates the way you act, which are your actions, the fruits of the tree. You will know them by their fruits. And what happens? Your fruits or the actions, right? Thank you for the follow. Your fruits or your actions dictate your results. So if you want different results in your life, what do? Do you change the paradigm? Well, the short answer is yes. How do you change the paradigm? You go down here in the roots and you change the roots. The roots automatically changes the paradigm, automatically changes the actions. And all you have to do is install new beliefs. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. Change your thoughts, right? Change your life. Change your mind. Change your life. It's not difficult. It's just something you need to stick to. So I don't say self-discipline in my training. Because when you do that, everybody goes, oh, that's a lot of work. Discipline, ugly word, right? So I say consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. If you believe that the world is a spooky place, if you believe that, there's never enough, there's not enough money, money's hard to earn, money's hard to come by, things are hard to come by, everything is limited, there's too many people in the world, everything is scarce, right? If you believe that way, you're going to have actions that reflect scarcity. I can tell how people live by the way they speak. Okay, when you know how to listen to someone, when you listen and you pay attention to the words they use and the body language that they show. Somebody yesterday I was wearing my reading glasses. I normally wear my reading glasses. I forgot them in the car today. So I have my regular glasses, but I have bifocals, so I have to go like this, But I have a camera over here, I have a camera up there, I have a camera over there, and a camera over here. So I'm constantly shifting, looking between platforms to answer questions and, stuff like that. And so the guy goes, "Whoa, shifty eyes," yesterday. And my eyes are really big, when I'm wearing my reading glasses. So yeah, because I like it magnified, so I have like huge eyes. So yeah, when you watch the other lives, we pin the lives on my Facebook account. You guys, if you want to follow my Facebook account, I don't know if I should say that on the other platforms, but yeah, Junior Kekuewa Jr. 1 is the thing. If you ask me for a link, I'll send it to you guys, okay? So you can watch the lives when they're pinned. They're pinned to the account every night, overnight. Anyway, so when you're feeling guilt, you're feeling shame, you're feeling inadequate, you're feeling less than. Okay, so here's some questions to think about. How does the government make you feel? More than or less than? How does religion make you feel? More than or less than? You're not supposed to fear God. Okay? When they use the term fear God, they're talking about respect. If you respect God, then you respect this one because God lives in here. Okay? If you cannot love this one, you cannot love God. If you cannot face yourself in the mirror, if you cannot love what you see when you look in the mirror, if you cannot appreciate what you see when you look in the mirror, and I'm talking about appreciate the blessing that God has given you, this life, this opportunity. I know so many people that are involved in religion, religious dogma, but they all believe that they have the answer to the will of creation. Can you imagine that? We as human beings, one human being, is like a grain of sand on the beach. There's 8 billion of us. So your prayers will be answered to solely benefit you. You know, like the whole world will correspond to you. Kind of, sort of happens like that. Why? Well, because with your intention, with your thought in the conscious mind, you know the thought you keep thinking that becomes a belief in the subconscious? Okay, you hold tight to that thought. You make it the center point, and guess what happens? You are your own universe. Your timeline starts to correspond to you. And this is why when you ask and you believe, the belief part, believe in your asking, you receive. It's in Mark 11:24 for you Christians. Okay, I'm a Christian. Go look it up, 11:24. Go look at Matthew 23:26. 22:20, maybe 22:23. I have to think in real time, and I have ADHD, so my brain skips tracks. That's just me. I can't change that. Nai1 has the answer. What answer are you talking about? Be more specific. Floating on a rock in space. You're being very vague and dancing all over the place with your thoughts. So, but when you hold that one belief as a center point, in other words, I'm going to buy a new car. Okay, hold that belief, new car. Believe in new car. What will your subconscious do? It will start giving you confirmation. Oh, look for a new car over here. Oh, here's the classified ads. Here, new car over here. Oh, go pull into the dealership and inquire over here. Oh, go test drive over here. It will start pulling confirmation and pointing you in that direction, because that will be the focus, because that is your belief. Okay, let me see. Jay, I think she meant no one has the answer. No one has the answer to religion. Well, religion in itself is a dogma, and religion is man-made, not God-made. So in that respect, you're correct. Yes, you are correct in that sense. Yeah, it's just a yeah. Thank you, Jay. Thank you for getting that. In that respect, you are correct. So when you form the center point, right, that means you're stubborn about it. That means you refuse to change your mind. It was only when I did that things happened in my careers. And I've had multiple careers. Take my name and plug it in any browser. Vet me, please. Okay? And all you have to do is make up your mind. That's it. When you change your mind, right? The only thing about changing your mind, I mean, you're allowed to change your mind, of course, okay? But the thing about changing your mind and what happens is God or universe or source or divine, the divine or, infinite intelligence acts like a GPS. You ever change your path on the GPS because you know the shortcut? The GPS starts spinning, right? That's God going, hey, wait a minute, wait, okay, hold on, I got it, and then boom, God will lay out the path for you. The way it works is conscious, subconscious, superconscious. Okay, so the thought is initially accomplished by the conscious mind, goes into the subconscious as a belief in repetition. The job of the superconscious is to open the doors, give you intuitive thought. Because the superconscious lives in the right hemisphere of your brain. It's creativity, okay? It's intuition, it's imagination. When you receive intuitive thought, pay attention to it. Act on it. Act on intuitive thought. Okay? I always act on intuitive thought. When you're driving down the highway, you feel you should turn right over here, and you dismiss it, and then you get stuck in the traffic jam. What do you say? You go, I knew I should have turned, because you did know. That's your divine guidance. You're not an independent animal. Okay, not even horses. Horses aren't very smart. They're not even as smart as dogs, but they're all connected. Something in the bushes happens. They all spook because they're all linked together. This is how birds fly in synchronicity in the sky, in groups, in mass groups. And they all move together because they're all linked together. Okay. Hey, Manuel. Good morning, Manuel. Thank you for joining us. So whether you want to call the superconscious God or Allah or Jesus Christ or whatever you want to call the superconscious, okay, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. You believe as you believe. But that's what goes in that category. And you are connected to that category. Now, if you don't recognize it or you don't want to believe that God is real or that there's a higher power than you, okay, because we are the macrocosm or the microcosm of the macrocosm being the greater energy, we are smaller units of the greater energy. And we are all connected to that greater energy through awareness. But mindset is important because it's really important in the way that you think of these things. A wealth mindset operates from abundance and possibility. A wealth mindset tells you that anything is possible. A wealth mindset shows you possibilities. It pulls possibilities because the subconscious does that. The subconscious looks for confirmation, looks for possibilities. A wealth mindset believes there's always enough. The earth creates more all the time. The earth creates more gold. It creates more silver. It creates more lumber. It creates more of everything. The media stuff, we're running out of this. We're running out of fossil fuels. There's not enough fossils. We're running out of fossils, therefore the fuel will run out. Scarcity. Keep going to the service station and keep seeing if they ran out of gas yet. I've been alive for a long time. They haven't run out yet. Okay. Fear is false evidence appearing real. Don't let fear get to you. Don't let fear become your paradigm. Don't let fear dictate your life. Stop fearing. There's so many entities out there that do this to you. Fear. Wait until something happens to you. Wait until it happens in your vicinity and then deal with it. If you can't do anything about it, don't fear it. Don't be afraid of it. Here's what fear does to your life path. This is your life path, okay? So you're going in a straight line. Life path, life path, life path. When fear happens, fear does this to your life path. It does that. And that little, like this, like that much, okay, is enough to take you off of your life path for a few weeks. Because when fear happens, you think about it. When you think about it, if you think about it too much, it becomes a belief in your subconscious. Okay, it becomes a belief in your subconscious. And then what? Then it looks for evidence. Then you start seeing all the things you're fearing. If you're on a computer, if you're on social media, your algorithm will right? Because when you like it or when you watch it, it knows you're watching. It starts showing you more things to fear. And then what happens? Well, your reticular activating system in your brainstem brings it from online into the physical world. And now you start seeing things in the physical world that are like that. And you start fearing. Or it can start in the physical world through your reticular activating system in your brainstem. And now it's become a part of your physical reality. Then when you go online, guess what? It's going to show up online. Why? Because the algorithms follow you. Because your computer listens to you. Because your cell phone listens to you. So now what? You get overwhelmed. You get overwhelmed because it's not just happening online. It's not just in your scrolling. It shows up in your real life. And you go, wow, yeah, the world is a bad place. Yeah, it is a spooky place. Yeah, things are going wrong all over the place. That's a false perception. You can change your perception. You can either look at life as being really, really good and yeah, there's some bad to deal with, or you can look at it as really, really bad and yeah, there's some good parts. Which one you want to choose? It's up to you. It doesn't mean that you walk through life with rose-colored glasses and ignore everything bad that happens. It doesn't mean you pretend it's not there. You just do not choose to engage with it. Because when you engage, you join. When you fear, you have joined emotionally. What happens to your emotions? It gets pulled down like that. If your emotions get pulled down too often, your subconscious recognizes that. Okay? And your subconscious reiterates it. Okay? It repeats it for you. Why? Because it learned in repetition, and now it's going to repeat it for you. And guess what? You're going to be like this all the time. You're going to be like that. Okay? I have spent the last 37 years of my life releasing people from that. From this in here. Because they're like this. They're like that inside. They can't let go. It won't let go of them. I'm talking about your subconscious. I'm not talking about demons. I'm not talking about evil spirits and those things. I'm not talking about the movies. I'm not talking about Hollywood. I'm talking about your subconscious not letting go. Holding you hostage. Why? Because it's repeating these bad programs. It's repeating these bad thoughts. It's repeating these negative actions that are the results of negative thoughts. Thoughts become things. You think negative thoughts, you get negative actions as a result. And as a result of the negative actions, what do you get? You get negative consequences. And what does that do? That brings bad things in your life. And then what? You experience the bad things and it starts all over again. It's a merry-go-round or a mouse wheel. However you want to look at it. It either goes like this or like this. You choose which one you want. Same result, either one. So because I have this knowledge, is my life perfect? No, of course not. Of course not. Do I make mistakes? Every day, Hawaiians. Every day. But because I'm aware of the mistakes I make, and because I'm aware of how the subconscious works, and because I'm aware of all of these things, I dismiss it right away. How do you dismiss it? I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Or just, I'm sorry. In here, not out there. You don't need to say sorry to anybody. You need to say sorry if you offend somebody. You should say sorry to them. But what I'm saying is, if you use some bad language against somebody, right? They may have gone. It may be in passing, maybe in traffic. You honk the horn, bam, bam, expletive, okay? Sorry, I don't swear. I don't swear on my lives. And then what? Inside you get the bad feeling, right? Because you just cuss somebody out. So what do? You just, I'm sorry. Who are you saying sorry to? Yourself and your creator, whoever you believe that to be. If you believe that to be God, Jesus Christ, Allah, whoever you believe that to be, just say sorry. Now you clear, now the feeling goes away, and you start brand new. Every time you do something wrong, you have that feeling, you have a bad feeling. The problem is people are so used to doing wrong things, and then they feel the wrong thing, and pretty soon that wrong feeling is undistinguishable between a wrong and a good and bad feeling. If you're used to feeling bad all the time because you're cussing people out all the time, right? What's the norm? What's normal? The bad feeling. And you don't know the difference. Why? Because you've never cleared it. You've never made good on it. You've never corrected it. So what's the hack? Meditation. Just sit still, close your eyes for 10 minutes. Try 3 minutes, try 2 minutes. Go slowly. Everything in life starts small and then builds. Starts small and then builds. Okay? Try. Just do it for a little while. 2 minutes. Say you're sorry. While you're in that state, while you close your distractors. Okay? Seek in here. This is why in the Bible it says people look but they do not see. People listen but they do not hear. Why? Because you listen in here. Because you seek in here. It's not talking about out there. There is no out there. The only thing out there is nature. Okay? Plants and animals, minerals, vegetation. And things from someone else is in here. And if they can, you can. Okay? But there is no out there. Out there, the kingdom is within. Go within the kingdom, close your distractors, sit in the kingdom for a couple of minutes. And then try 5, and then try 10. When you can do this for 10 minutes a day, your life will change in 2 weeks. I promise. Write to me and let me know. Try that. Okay, and Billy, thank you. Thank you, Billy. Oh, I'm glad you like the takeaways. Thank you, Jay. Jay is saying see you tomorrow. So we're going to let go of